and welcome to Meadow Bakery. In this video, I'm going to share with you the key equipment you need to get started with baking. This is the equipment that I recommend highly for beginners to get started with baking. Number one, a scale. You need a scale. This is for more accurate baking. I do not recommend cups at all because you get different measurements for your cups depending how you fill it, and some country cups are bigger than other country cups, so just following a cup recipe does not work. So a scale. This one has different units: grams, milliliters, fluid ounces and stuff. I use the grams or milliliters. So scale number one. And then now when it comes to cake tins, there are so many cake tins out there on the market, and you can get overwhelmed and you may think you need all of them, but you don't. So I recommend a round cake tin for beginners. Remember, it's for beginners. 8-inch round. This is a shallow 8-inch cake tin, which is great for sandwich cakes. The sandwich cakes are the ones with the cake at the bottom, a filling in the middle, and then another cake on the top. So these are great for that. But since if you want to bake sandwich cakes, I always recommend you buy them in pairs so that you don't have to go. But if you want just one and not bake a sandwich cake, you can still just buy one, but I buy them in pairs. So I have my two 8-inch round cake tins. The other thing you can do if you've got a tight budget is these come in different heights. So this height is for sandwich cakes, but then let's say you want to bake a high fruit cake, you will need a higher cake tin, then you end up buying more than one. So what you can do is buy one that's high like this. Can you see the difference? This is not an 8-inch round one, this is a 6-inch round, which I'll talk about soon. But can you see the difference? They come in different heights like that. Okay, so I have an 8-inch as well in this height. It's only because I buy lots of cake tins, but you don't need to. If you buy one which is very high, I don't know the inches, you can bake shallow cakes and tall cakes in it. And also this one, if you do have a shallow one already, you can actually make tall cakes in this by increasing the height of your tin. Not the tin as such, but you put greaseproof paper around your tin, which is high. It will support the cake while it rises. I've done a video about that, and I think I'll put a link in the description below. So if you're a small family or just 1 or 2 people and don't eat that much cake, you can buy a 6-inch cake tin. This is 6-inch round. It's quite a high one. I bought a high one so that I don't have to buy more than this size, because I can bake my shallow ones in here, and I can also bake the tall ones in there. Otherwise you'll be having so many different sizes of cake tins, and if you don't have enough space, it can be a problem. Also, I recommend these ones. Can you see it's got a fixed bottom? There are some cake tins with loose bottom. I don't recommend those. I don't like how the cake comes out of them, and sometimes they can leak depending on the quality. So these ones are fantastic. I used to think it would be difficult to get a cake out, but it's not. You just grease the bottom, and I usually tend to put greaseproof paper all the time at the bottom, even though I know these don't stick. I just like to do it for just my peace of mind. So you put some butter, and then you put your piece of greaseproof paper, and you can just butter and flour the sides of your tin. Okay, so these are tins that you need. And then a mixing bowl. Mixing bowl can be glass, enamel, sometimes even plastic, but you need a bowl large enough to mix your ingredients. So instead of buying a small one, you can just buy a large one, because you can use it for future things. If you have a lot of mixture, you can add into there. Even for bread, you can use a large bowl. And then what do you mix with? If you have a tight budget, the best thing to mix with is either a wooden spoon or a spatula. Okay, so you put your ingredients in there and you mix it. You know, they talk about creaming butter and sugar. It does not have to be very complicated. It's just mixing them until they get together, and then you start adding. So you can use a wooden spoon. If you to stretch your budget and you like to bake often, I recommend a hand whisk. Okay, hand whisks are very good and handy just to mix something very quickly, and it's an electric one. Then there are stand mixers, which are not completely necessary as a beginner, but if you have one and you want to use them, there's the Kenwood, there's the KitchenAid. I have Kenwood and I recommend Kenwood, but whatever brand you have. Some other equipment that you can actually use for baking, I showed you the round cakes, I showed you the round cake tins, but then there are also loaf tins, which are usually used for cakes like Madeira cakes, lemon drizzle loaf cakes. They come in different materials. There is this one which is glass, and I think the other one's aluminum, but then there are also loaf tins like this one. This has a beautiful design. These are from a company called Nordicware in the US. I love these because of the patterns that they show. So when you flip your cake, this becomes the top, and it's got really beautiful designs. So you can buy these too. It depends how much baking you want to do, and if you want to be adventurous and you like your patterns. So it doesn't have to be the plain round ones all the time, but you can actually start off with one of these, and these ones are great. You just butter them and flour. So melted butter, brush it to the bottom, flour it, and then you're good to go. Your cake won't stick. It shouldn't stick if you do it properly. I love baking bundt cakes. This is a bundt tin, and this is the bottom of what it looks like, which will become the top when you flip your cake over. So if you want to get started with that, these are not a basic beginner equipment, but it is something you can actually get started with if you want to bake. They are quite expensive, but if you really want to bake and you're serious about it and you like design but are not really good at decorating, these are fantastic because they come out designed already. This one, as well as other designs, come with a mini buntlet tin. That's what they call them, and it's like the big version, but the smaller ones, almost like cupcake size, but they're quite big, bigger than a cupcake, but about a cupcake size. So you could buy a set if you want, one large one and then some for cupcakes. So this is some of the equipment you can buy if you want. It depends how much you have, but remember, I have collected this equipment over a number of years, so you don't have to start with that. Just start with your round cake tin, just one, perfect for something simple like a Madeira cake as a beginner recipe, or even a sandwich cake, which I started with. The very first cake I baked was a sandwich cake, a Victoria sponge, and I have a video of it somewhere on my channel, so you can search if I forget to put a link in the description below. But this is really all you need as a beginner. These things: mixing bowl, cake tins, mixer of your choice, and that's it. Thanks for watching, and see you again in the next video.